I'm Paula Dimming from the board game YouTube series Things Get Dicey and the board game podcast This Game is Broken. And I'm very excited today because we've gathered up a few of the brilliant minds behind the creation of Apex Legends, the board game. And we're going to talk all about how this game came to be. So joining me today, we've got Michael Ozan, we've got Jacob Wisniewski. I'm sorry, Jacob, I feel like I said that horribly today. And Thanos Argyris here with me.
Hello.
So we've talked a little bit before with Michael and Jacob, but Thanos, this is my first time meeting you. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in this project?
Hello there. So basically, I presented a prototype to Mikal back in 2019, Mikal, right?
In a different world, a bit.
In a different world, without
conventions, etc.
Pre-COVID.
A very different world.
Yeah. So I was with my friend, the other lead designer, Michael Nicolaou, and we came to our first session, and it was, a new world for us. And we came with this prototype and 1 million ideas and very excited. And Mikal was like the only one that saw, the scope, he agreed with our dreams and the scope and the magnitude of what we wanted to do with this prototype, which led to Apex Legends. And our ideal scenario is to create Apex Legends as a battle royale to the tabletop. No.
And have you always worked in board games, Thanos?
Funny enough, I started as a designer, but Fantasia games came after. So basically, this prototype was, let's say, led to the birth of Fantasia, because I discovered that I love this, but I also love to be a publisher. So we created with my associate Yoma Fantasia games, and we released Endless Winter and Unconscious Mind.
Right, yeah. Well, that's wonderful. So Thanos, what is specifically about Apex Legends made you want to create a board game? Have you played a lot of the video game, or were you just interested in something that was a first-person shooter type game in general?
No, it was especially Apex Legends because basically this is a true story. Apex Legends came out from nowhere. So there was no big, announcement like, oh, we're going to release this game. So I just saw it like the day it came out. So I gathered my friend. I'm like, oh my God, guys, a new FPS Battle Royale. Let's see what it is. And I got blown away because it had the most fluid movement and the most, solid gameplay. And you had also these different legends that they totally alter the gameplay. So you were feeling that, okay, every decision matters. Every formation matters. So I played some hundreds of hours, and then the idea was like, okay, I envy this camaraderie, this, this feeling you have that, oh, I have to keep my teammates alive. I have to go to another circle. And I wanted to bring this to the tabletop, to a board game. So, and everybody was like, okay, you're crazy. But,
it's not possible to make a real-time game in a board game, right?
Well, so Michael, it sounds like this was a challenge. People were saying, well, this is impossible. You can't do this. So
when we received prototype from Thanos and Michael, we were really amazed about how they catched the spirit of Battle Royale game. And that's why we just, we are treating our job very seriously. We try to make our games real adaptations of the digital products. And when we saw the prototype, oh yes, this is what we needed. Absolutely.
Because honestly, I saw genuine interest when I saw Michael, the prototype, and I was like, maybe it's a trick that publishers do, because I was back then I wasn't the publisher, but no, it was genuine. I was blown away. Totally.
It's quite a cool story, actually, when you look at it. When Thanos approached Michael with Mikalis, and the prototype made such an impression on him. And I remember hearing about this when Michał was still away. And when we played it at our office, we were just all blown away at how well our Greek friends were able to capture that feeling. And from there, we just went and got the license. Wasn't easy, but we're extremely happy that we're fulfilling the dream of both the authors and ourselves.
So what are some of the foundations from the video game that you felt were important to really pull into the board game? I guess this could be a good question for anyone, but maybe, especially a good question for Thanos, being the one who first had this idea to do this.
Basically, in order to make a proper Apex Legends adaptation into the board game, you have to have, first and foremost, the legends. They have they have to feel and play like the original legends into the video game, from the video game. So next is the looting system, because you have to find, for example, the perfect attachment for your weapon. You have to find this stabilizer, this mag, this optic. So everything have to be adapted into the gameplay. Also, the maps, that they have different ecosystem. Life, there are maps that they have flyers that fly around you, and you can, gun them down and get loot, or there are other animals that can attack you, and all this they have to brought together in order to give the impression, the feeling to the players that they're playing a proper Apex Legends game.
Michał, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember that when you came back from that lesson, you were especially astounded by the shooting system in the prototype, right?
Yeah, definitely. It is card-based shooting system, and I think Paula will describe it in another video, right? Because this is a big topic, because Apex is about shooting, weapon building, and shooting. So but absolutely, this card shooting mechanics is still in the game. It just evolved a bit, but this is something that really gives you a great reception of how weapons work and how they differ one from another.
So now you've pitched your game to Glass Cannon Unplugged, and they said, yes, let's put this into development. What does that process look like? How does it go from an idea to actually becoming a game?
When you are a new designer and you don't have any clue about publishing, you think like, okay, my game is ready. Let's, yes, what's gonna happen? Yeah,
print it, put it in a box. Sell it. Man. It's good.
It plays well. I know. I play tested it. So yeah, this is totally not the case here. And Glass Cannon came in, and they truly, how can I say, hugged the design. They totally embraced the design, and they wanted to take it one step further. So all the dev team of Glass Cannon came in, and they started evolving everything from our core gameplay to the shooting mechanics, how the games work. Because in my initial design, I had, how can I say, just not proper legends, but how ideas about how legends should work. So they should, Glass Cannon solidified these mechanics about
we could legends. Do this after acquiring the license, right? So because Thanos worked on the game, not he hasn't the license, right? So we could put the real legends onto it, only knowing that we have it. Right?
So when we got the prototype, we had a diamond, and you can say we polished it and cut it into a cut diamond.
Right. So what would you say is the biggest challenge of this project?
I mentioned before transferring the whole Apex Legends experience to board game, but If I would say specific stuff, let's say, or aspects of the game, it would be the circle, how to represent, a circle as a steady threat to the whole game.
Right, closing in and making the
Yeah.
field of play smaller and smaller, forcing kind of everyone into the same space. Yeah, which is an important part of this kind of battle royale system.
Exactly, because otherwise it would be just an arena game. Oh, I mean, this arena, and I have to kill the other one. But we have to give the impression of that you play a battle royale game, and that you are in constant dangers, and you have to find the loot, and you have to give the loot to your teammate, and use your abilities and use your tacticals and everything. So basically, it was an overall. How can I say? It's an overall thing. It's like all these, thousands of mechanics brought together in order to have a whole experience, a whole battle royale experience.
And Michael, what would you say from kind of the developer end? Would you agree with that, or are there other challenges that you feel like you've really had to face in creating this game?
I agree completely. From my perspective, also as a project manager, the second very difficult thing is environment for the game. So to keep it 3D. It's very hard to make 3D experience on a flat tabletop surface, right? So that's why we had to think about 3D models, miniatures, and other stuff and rules that will enable us to act not only on a flat surface, but also vertically, right? So that was also a big thing to do. But I think we managed to do this well, and we have very dynamic gameplay experience.
So another thing that came right, into my mind is like the thousands of different combinations you can have in the game. Basically, you can have different legends, different weapons, and these different weapons have a ton of attachments. So these attachments, they have to be tested in different combinations that they do not break the game, and they do not feel that they're totally, unfair for the players. So we need to also have an incentive that I need to find this attachment, but this attachment will not, make me win the game. It will help me win the game. So it was an endless testing of different legends, different combinations, different
Setups.
formations, attachments, weapons. Oh my God.
Yeah, the more customization you add in, the more you have to make sure it's balanced, because one little thing can throw that off, and suddenly this gun combination is super OP instead of just slightly better, right?
This process made me respect game developers, like video game developers, because they have million players trying to break the game at the same time. Imagine that. And, oh my God. Oh.
Completely true. I might just add that the work of our developers, the authors, and the testers, it honed the system. It actually gave birth to the game system, to what we now have, and that we want. It's a foundation that we want to build upon, because all those combinations Thanos mentioned, and all those possibilities, when they were tested and balanced and over again, they actually gave birth to the modularity of the game design that we have now, and that we can build upon with different blocks.
So Jacob, who's the target player for Apex Legends, the board game?
That's a well-aimed question, because it actually connects to what I said a second before. This modularity of design, it's aimed at three groups that I would define. First of all, we have fans of Apex Legends. So some of them might have played board games. Very few of them have probably played skirmish games. Then the second group is the board gamers. And this is our most universal group, because many of them might have played Apex Legends. Some might have played skirmish games. And the third group is the competitive skirmish players, hobbyists, who some might have played Apex, some might have played board games, but they focus heavily on games.
Right.
So we have those three groups, and we're addressing this game to all three, but in different aspects. Because we all know that if something is addressed to everyone and all, it's probably not working all
Right.
or well. This is why we have a common denominator with different aspects targeted towards different players. So our core box, the core experience of Apex Legends, the board game, is actually that common denominator. It gives everything you need to experience Apex Legends on tabletop, with miniatures, with maps, components, everything else. And the scenarios and the play modes that we have in it, and coming with expansions and seasonal releases, these will see targets towards different groups. So we will start with our board game fans and Apex Legends fans, but we are certain that skirmishers will also love the game because we play skirmish games ourselves. We love playing Apex. We love it for its accessibility, for the quickness of setup, and for the emotions that it gives us, while not compromising on depth of gameplay and tactics. So this is the approach of the whole line of products that will be Apex Legends, the board game.
So when you were developing this, you were focusing on making a game that people who are newer to board games but love Apex Legends could find something to welcome them and feel familiar, something that board gamers who aren't super into skirmish games could also get into, and this could be an introduction into skirmish for them, but also at the same time adding those things in for those more experienced skirmish gamers to be able to find and latch on to. That's a wide audience, but also like focused in at the same time.
Yeah, that's a very wide audience, as I said, but this is why the game is structured in modules.
Well, Michael, Jacob, Thanos, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today about Apex Legends, the board game. And thank you for watching along. Make sure that you're following the Kickstarter page, which is linked in the description below. And stay tuned because we have all kinds of discussions about the game coming up for you. Now remember, Legends change the game. Will you become one? Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.